Hey Cruisers, I'm Kendra Sommer and we are driving our 1966 Ford Mustang and we stopped here at Barris Kustoms, home of the Batmobile, Munsters Koach, and of course, George Barris.
Hey Kendra, how are you? Welcome to Barris Kustoms, you're home now.
Jared Barris was quick to greet us outside and quickly ushered us in the shop to give us the tour. Now, his grandfather, of course, was George Barris, the famous king of the Kustomizers. Oh my gosh, it's the Batmobile.
I know, and I'm so casual when I say it. The Batmobile is literally, we're so fortunate to have this car. We've had this one for over 25 years. It's a fiberglass body. We sold the original on Barrett-Jackson in 2013, and it ended up breaking the world record there. But at the end of the day, we always had this one because at the end of the day, it was hard to insure the original Batmobile.
Right.
So we had to build one that could be screen used.
The guy who actually bought that Batmobile, I heard he keeps it in his living room. Is that true?
Hey, I can't confirm or deny.
So cool.
I'm gonna get another side with you.
Bat chute. Look at all these buttons.
All right, take it easy over there. Again, the cooler part is that you're seeing the exact car that Adam West and Burt Ward did when they actually did Return to the Batcave in the 2000s. So you are sitting in a screen-used car where Adam West actually drove.
Amazing.
And this is speed shifter, so these little knocking into gear nice and smooth, and everything works. No.
Oh, that's amazing. What does this lever do?
Oh God, please don't do it.
This is the seat.
This is the magic 180 turn.
And now we're moving on to Mockingbird Lane with the Munsters.
Come on, everybody, hop in. I'll take us all for a ride through the cemetery. Come on, Herman, hop in. You get in the back, Herman. You all in?
This is so cool. This takes you back to the show. And this is about the point where my fangirl senses started to kick in. The Munsters is literally one of my favorite shows. I grew up on it as a kid in reruns. Exactly.
I mean, you got the casket handles on the side of the actual engine bay. You have the lanterns that obviously represent spookiness and hauntedness, but again, you're with one of the friendliest Munster families in the world.
Right.
Really crunched in.
That's crazy.
But I mean, the scenes were really quick when they're in it, so it's like get
Yeah.
uncomfortable for a little bit, drive up, and that's it. Yeah, this car is amazing though. Because the pipes are cut so short, they don't have any like real muffler system to densen the sound. It is so loud.
It's so loud.
Yeah.
Wow.
You said in the toy industry, right?
Yeah.
I gotta show you around that.
Okay, let's check it out.
Just come here. You're already one step closer. So, this is George's life in a nutshell. Again, you said the toy industry, and it started with model kits like that. I mean, obviously AMT became instrumental into getting him into the scene with kids, getting them building the cars that he was creating.
Right.
And if you know anything in the world, you know, it always starts with the youth.
Yep.
But really, at the end of the day, they're the ones that drive the industry. So AMT took a big risk with George building the a la carte as one of his first model kits.
Wow.
And then ever since then, it was like, whatever George built, AMT got it.
That's
It was
amazing.
like,
Oh man, this like you could seriously spend days here.
it's kind of scary, actually. I mean, I've been here for almost 29 years of my life, and I still see something new every day. This is George's Batmobile collection. I mean, over the 60s, through the 60s, through the 70s, through the 80s, again, the fact that this became such a big influence on his life and in the toy industry and with
It's
kids.
huge.
I mean, look at this is just a small remnants of what they created in that decade. Some of them George actually signed underneath them in their collection.
This is incredible.
It's amazing. And I used to clean these toys, and now here I am admiring them.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, and then of course he kept some in the original packages. But you know, George wasn't a big keep it in the package kind of guy. I mean,
but it's not for sale. It's the Batmobile. Damaged by the horrible, nasty enemies of Batman and Robin, and here only for service.
but some of them we're very fortunate we do.
Oh man. what it was like when they called asking him to get involved with Batman.
But he didn't really ever talk about like this, the call or the struggle. I never once heard anything negative from him about the industry. Like
Really?
it was, no, because it wasn't about that. It was about the challenge. And then I think the industry saw more potential in George and going like, okay, here's this guy who builds these crazy ass cars. Well, how do we like get him to build one for our characters? So they would give him the scripts, and it's like, here's a script. We don't know what to do, but we need them to do something cool, and they need something cool to drive in to get to that place to do something cool. So that's why he kind of created those little niches in that market. And honestly, that's what got him really into the scene, is that he didn't just build a car just to make it look cool. It actually became a character.
Right.
This is technically his computer. This is where George literally archived his whole life. And he had the box system. Again, back in the day, you didn't have computers. You couldn't scan things. You had to literally save physical copies. So he would have photos, scripts, newspaper articles on the famous person if he was designing the car. Anywhere from photos and press releases. They usually go in the box.
A little bit of everything.
But you want to actually see
Yeah,
what's
let's
in the
see
box?
what's in one of
Okay,
these boxes.
cool.
Open it up.
All right, we'll take this one off.
Oh,
This one's a little heavy.
Yeah. Gotta use those muscles.
Yeah, of course. So here's a good one. This is called Fireball 500 with Fabian and Felicello.
Yeah, it
Oh my
sounds-
God,
yeah.
I'm not Italian, but like, look at this. So these are actually old photos that George collected
Wow.
through time. So this is actually the Fireball 500. It had a dual cowl setup, and actually AMT just released the new retro model kit on this car. So in here would be anywhere from, look at this, old model kit of it being actually this is a photo of it being at a car show.
That is neat.
I'm trying to see what else.
Just there's so much. It's incredible. Like your grandfather was so innovative, even with his.
Yep.
You know, before there were computers, there were boxes, and he made sure that he labeled all these. This is fantastic.
Yeah, and again, this is what worked for him, and it worked for that time. And we're very fortunate because we can have access to this. There's things
Right.
that I can learn from these boxes that he couldn't even tell me because, you know, you forget.
Right.
It was created by George about 40 years ago, and as he kind of like took the next stages in his life, he wanted to recap it all.
Farrah Fawcett. I
Yep.
mean,
You had the Foxy Vet, obviously. This is George created, and then obviously it was for her, but then they actually made it into a model kit. George had tons of magazines from
Yeah.
Farrah Fawcett. I was telling you, like, he actually literally read up about them so that he made sure each car had their personality built into the actual vehicle. You have Elton John and George right here. George built a golf cart for him. I'll show you a photo over there, but it's actually a touring golf cart.
Wow.
It had Elton John's sunglasses on there. So it's pretty wild. And again, George always wanted to bring out the personality in the person. It wasn't about just building the car.
That's
And
great.
then of course you have Frank Sinatra's. They did this for those who think young. I think for Nancy Sinatra.
Okay.
But obviously this is George with Frank with it, and this is actually at the Peterson Museum right now. Which will be here. George actually reached out to Adam West and was like, oh, when they actually kept their suits with them.
Yeah.
He's like, do you actually have your bat suit with you? And he goes, yeah, I do. So he had him quickly pull it up. They watered the ground underneath, and this is actually taken back there in that corner wall.
Munsters.
Yep, you have the Munsters, and then obviously this was built by Dean Jeffries, but George did get involved with it on set, which is the Green Hornet, and there's George with Bruce Lee. Then you have George on set of the Munsters with the Dragula.
Wow.
Beverly Hills Billies. If you look really close in there, you can actually see George in the actual photo of him being on set.
After 60 years in North Hollywood, Barris Kustoms closed its doors in 2021. All right, cruisers, thanks so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to our channel. We release videos every Monday and Friday. I'll see you next time, cruisers.